After missing out on a big chunk of training camp and the first preseason game, we finally got Jalin Hyatt back in the second preseason game against the New York Jets. But even in his debut in the 2025 season, it still remains lackluster whenever he's on the field. He did have one catch in that game, and the rest of his reps were pretty pedestrian, and he wasn't out there long. I think it's fair to ask these questions as roster cuts are coming up right after the New England Patriots game on Thursday, and that is Jalin Hyatt a lost cause? What is going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. Keep in mind, guys, we do have a lot going on the membership side of this channel. You guys can join the membership for $5 a month. You're going to get a lot of breakdowns on the membership side of the channel. It's also, a lot of them are made to order. So I usually put every couple of days, I put a post on what you guys want to see, and I'm going to make exactly what you want to see. It could be the Giants, it could be anybody. You're also going to get full offense and defensive breakdowns on the membership side. I was thinking about making it public, but it's going to get demonetized, and I want to be able to put that out consistently without having to do all that work for pretty much nothing. And this is just a really good way to spoil my supporters, because you got the members, some of the members have been there for months, I mean years actually, and this is a way to say thank you. All that being said, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's go. All right, so we got Jalin Hyatt back in the second preseason game against the New York Jets, and I'll be honest, I thought we were going to get a little bit more out of him. Now I'm going to do a full film breakdown on Jalin Hyatt on the membership side of the channel, but I just wanted to come out and talk about Jalin Hyatt just as a whole and what we should do with him. I got the idea for this video. I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw this tweet saying, you know, if you had to pick one of them, Jalin Hyatt or Beaux Collins. And it's crazy that that's even a question, because it is a legitimate question. Would you want to keep a guy like Beaux Collins on the roster to develop him and maybe get him some reps every once in a while? Or do you remain with Jalin Hyatt because you did put a lot of draft capital in him and you traded up in the third round to get Jalin Hyatt? Do you constantly put in the effort to make sure Jalin Hyatt works to get the most out of him until his contract is up? Because obviously Jalin Hyatt is not a guy you're going to put on your practice squad because he's just going to get scooped up. Jalin Hyatt, if you cut Jalin Hyatt, there's no chance he's going to clear waivers. Somebody's going to pick him up. It could be like someone like the Chiefs, the Rams, the Bills, you know, teams that always have a use for wide receivers. And Beaux Collins as well. I think Beaux Collins has impressed enough in camp in these preseason games to where if he gets cut, I don't think there's much time he'll be on our practice squad either. I think he'll get picked up. Kind of have to weigh that out. And I'll also mention that Beaux Collins actually started that game over Jalin Hyatt. Beaux Collins was out there a lot longer than Jalin Hyatt. And he got, you guys saw the reps he got with Russell Wilson, that 80-yard bomb. That didn't go to Jalin Hyatt. Even the bomb that wound up being intercepted, that Beaux Collins ran the wrong route. Beaux Collins was out there. Jalin Hyatt was out there, but Jalin Hyatt was on the underneath route. And he was actually open, by the way. The point still stands. Like, they're giving a lot of reps to Beaux Collins. Now, is Jalin Hyatt taking like second team, third team reps in training camp? No, they're definitely trying to get the most out of him. He's still working with the first team. He's still looked at as one of the top 4 wide receivers on the roster. But at what point do you just say, we got to shut it down and we got to really try to develop the talent that we brought in here for the cheap? Looking at this wide receiver depth chart, it's taken years, but we're actually at a point where it's pretty damn deep. The Giants are going to cut a lot of good wide receiver talent this season, and it's going to be unfortunate. Montrell Washington probably doesn't have a spot on this roster. Beaux Collins either. Daquan Felton. Dalen Combre is a guy that's really put in a lot of effort, but it's just going to be all for naught, as the Giants just have a lot of good wide receivers and they're going to wind up cutting some good guys, you know. So, and Jalin Hyatt is going to be taking up a spot as well. So do the Giants get tempted to say, hey, there's a lot of young undrafted free agent talent that we can develop here that's shown enough to grant themselves more time on the roster? Is that something that they wrestle with Jalin Hyatt? I don't know. Now, I do want to talk about Jalin Hyatt's skill set because I think a lot of people don't really turn on the film when they talk about Jalin Hyatt. Jalin Hyatt has a certain skill set that is different from a lot of other wide receivers, but he lacks a lot that other wide receivers have. There's a give and take with Jalin Hyatt. His pros, obviously, he can be a burner. Now, he did a lot of that from the slot at Tennessee in college, but the way that Tennessee used the slot and used slot receivers is a lot different than a Brian Dable offense or even an NFL offense. A lot of the times Jalin Hyatt was asked to do a lot of out and ups, a lot of fades, a lot of vertical routes from the slot. Now, that's not in particular what Brian Dable likes to do with his slot. He has a lot of out routes, a lot of mesh concepts. You occasionally see the slot fade, but who are you going to throw on the slot fade? Jalin Hyatt or Malik Neighbors? There's just a lot that, yes, you can use Jalin Hyatt for, but there's not a lot of things where you can say, man, we got to have Jalin Hyatt for these plays because none of these wide receivers can do what Jalin Hyatt does in this particular fashion or skill set. And that brings up a really good point where I think we overhype Jalin Hyatt's speed. I'm going to show you a couple of plays from the Jets preseason game, and you guys just tell me, is he burning anybody out there? Yes. Did he slash through defenses in college? Absolutely. But he wasn't doing that man-to-man. We have to be honest with ourselves. Jalin Hyatt did a lot of what he did in college because he was a slasher in zone. He slashed through zones, and the quarterback was able to find a lot of the windows to throw Jalin Hyatt the ball, and he found himself behind a lot of defenses because of scheme. Now, he's still fast. He's a speedster, but he's not a guy that has amazing acceleration right off the snap. We've seen it in training camp. He is not very good on his releases. It's something that I can see the progress on. He was really bad in his rookie year. He's entering now his third season, and you could tell he's learning from Darius Sllayton because there's a lot of Darius Sllayton in his release game. And that brings me up to another point. What can Jalin Hyatt do that a guy like Darius Sllayton can't? Remember, Darius Sllayton and Jalin Hyatt are very similar coming out of college, besides the fact that Jalin Hyatt is a lot better with his hands coming out of college. But Darius Sllayton right now is far superior as a receiver and can do everything that Jalin Hyatt can do and better. His release game is a lot better. Darius Sllayton is the best route runner on the team. Yes, he's a better route runner than Malik Neighbors or Wan'Dale Robinson. And Darius Sllayton still has blazing speed downfield, and he knows how to utilize that speed with his footwork, with his timing, and that stuff also comes into play. Jalin Hyatt doesn't have that down yet. He has straight up speed, and he's a strider. He's not a guy that's like right off the jump extremely fast. You could see on a lot of his releases, cornerbacks are able to keep up with him. Downfield, he winds up having a step. It's not like he's burning defensive backs downfield on film where you're telling yourself, man, we have to have this guy for our clear routes. We have to have this guy for back shoulders, or we have to have this guy as just a field stretcher downfield. Jalin Hyatt is not showing that. Has he had flashes? Absolutely. He has a skill set. I'm not saying that he's incapable of doing it. I just think we're overhyping Jalin Hyatt's ability to stretch the field because of what he did in college. It's just not happening in the NFL, and it's showing on film. There's even a rep in this preseason game where he lines up in the slot and runs a slot fade. You guys tell me, is he burning this defensive back, downfield? He's not. Does he have a step when the ball is thrown? Yes. Is this ball overthrown? Absolutely, by Russell Wilson. We're discounting the ball. At the landmark where Jalin Hyatt needs to catch this ball, how far away from the defensive back is he? Does he have a step? Absolutely. Would he be able to make a catch if it was thrown accurately? Sure. Is he burning anybody? No, I'm not seeing him burn anybody when watching film. I haven't yet seen. Has he had a step? Yes, but I have not seen his blazing speed because, one, he ran a 4.40, guys. That is pretty. It's becoming a little bit more common to have receivers run a 4.40. Is that still really fast in everyday life? Absolutely. In the NFL, receivers are getting faster and faster. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not a lot of these a lot of these wide receivers with blazing speeds that come out in these drafts. He's not those guys. He's not John Ross. He's not any of these guys downfield. He's not as fast. He's got like Odell Beckham type speed, but I think Odell, his release was faster, more explosive. That's the thing that Jalin Hyatt also lacks. It's explosiveness. He's a strider, maybe a track star. Does not mean he has NFL speed. Track speed and NFL speed do not correlate a lot of the times. So I leave the question to you, the viewers. Would you want to see young developmental talent like a Bo Collins or Montrell Washington have a roster spot, a place where they can develop, over a guy like Jalin Hyatt going into his 3rd season where we just don't see enough from him to warrant him remaining on the roster over these young developmental wide receivers? What do you guys think in the comment section below? Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys tomorrow after the Giants and Patriots game. See you guys later. Woo!